Congressman, I appreciate your time. You led a letter or co-led a letter back in mid-October making clear to Senate leaders that they needed to decouple Ukraine funding from Israel funding. Senate leaders, both Republican and Democrat, and the president have said that's a non-starter for them. Is there any way you would vote for an Israel aid package if it comes back to you from the Senate with Ukraine funding in it?
I don't think so. I made it pretty clear where I've been on Ukraine funding. You know, we've given them, what is it, $120 billion now, basically unchecked. And that's Ukraine, not Israel. And the president characterizing this as an Israeli aid package is really kind of bogus. And him saying that we're politicizing when, in fact, obviously, in politics, the first rule you learn is accuse your enemies of doing exactly what you're doing. But it's 4 different sheets of paper. Good gosh, you put a border package, which actually it's not really a border package. It's just a bureaucrat package allowing more illegals to get into our country and the interior of our country, which I'm still not understanding why the Democrats don't abandon. I know it's the Democrat challenger to the president. That's one of his main issues, and it's struck a real nerve because a lot of people see the day news. And also Taiwan. If we're going to send Taiwan funds or arms, let's just do that. Let's separate the 4 packages are ridiculous. And of course, the insult of all insults to America was that during those 20 some odd days that we did not have a speaker, that we couldn't act on Israel, when in fact he had never even sent the bill to the Senate. And so I think this is a good option for Mike Johnson, our new speaker. I think he's showing clear leadership, and that a lot of people are not fond of the funding of the IRS, when in fact one thing that was not covered about the IRS funding was that the reason that we have such poor results from the IRS is because they're not in their offices. Dadgum, they're still taking off after COVID. They're working from home. As a United States Congressman, I'll write a letter to the IRS, and it can take 6 months. As a United States Congressman, I can't imagine what you as a citizen endure with the IRS. So,
can I ask you, though, about the IRS funding? And I understand the concerns. I mean, part of the issue, besides the work from home policy, is that they felt like they were underfunded, which hurt their efforts to some degree, has been the position that they've held. But tax collection and more effective tax collection actually helps on deficit and debt issues in terms of raising funding. Whether or not you want lower taxes or not, that is just kind of how the IRS works. You are a deficit hawk. You have made the debt a central issue of yours repeatedly in spending discussions, campaigns. This would add to the deficit by most scoring. And also, it doesn't really cover much at all in terms of a pay-for. Why go this route?
Why does it add to the deficit? If you've got a set number of people and they're claiming we need to hire more, they're claiming that all this is doing is refreshing when people retire. And so why would more money?
Well, if you reduce the ability to collect more taxes, then you wouldn't have as much money coming into the U.S. Treasury.
Well, I understand your point, but my point is this. If you've already got this number of people, and then you're going to add these billions of new dollars to hire new people, wouldn't the money from the people that have retired, wouldn't the new folks coming in, wouldn't that be the same amount of money or close in that ballpark to this comical amount? And we know, and in our hearings, we found out, and there was nobody even in denial, Democrat or Republican, that part of the efficiency was that they're not in the office in the phone. And if they're not in the office, why are we paying these high rents on real estate? Why aren't we shutting this real estate? It just seems like a business-like approach to be handled in all this, and it would make sense. Both parties agree to that, but getting there right now with the political football of throwing Israel in the mix.
A little back and forth, which means we're going to be talking about this next week, next Wednesday as well, I'm sure. Congressman Tim Burchett, we appreciate your time, sir. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, bro.